favorite new metal band. So, so thank you.
Our interview is my favorite from the first season. I love it, Mike. So thank you, and thank you for supporting the show. We really need it and really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that feels so awesome. Thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, I got to watch the first two episodes of the new season, and holy crap, it is great. Very excited.
Thank you.
First question, yeah, first question, I guess kind of for everybody is how do you feel like the show's kind of changed from first season to second season as far as like content or like just animation or like budget?
We all got Ferraris.
I got two Ferraris. Did you guys only get
Oh,
one?
I only get
I got 1.5.
That would yeah. Go
Uh,
ahead.
yeah, I would say, season 2 is really it's there's definitely like from comedically, it's a lot like I think we found the tone in season 1, and season 2 is just kind of expanding the world a bit, and we spend a lot more time with some of the supporting characters like Darby and Al and Rachel, and get to know them better and see their worlds. And then also we spend more time in the past. There's several episodes this season where we're kind of with young Theodore Sr., and we learn more history about Royal Crackers as a company, and some kind
Bakersfield.
And Bakersfield, exactly. Yeah, sins of the father, and how that have kind of how those have affected and kind of helped form present day Steve and Theo.
Nice. Do you all have a favorite character to write for or to like kind of develop? Or do you kind of like love them all sort of equally?
I love them all, but my favorite by far is writing the Denizens. I love writing those characters. They're just so despicable and evil, and you don't have to hang on to any moral compass when you're writing them. It's like it's so liberating. And I just love passive aggression. Like writing passive aggression is so fun. Evan, you got anything?
Yeah, I would say, well, I think when we first started, my favorite character I would say was Theo, just because he's so outlandish and just like it's just such a fun character to write for. But now I would say my favorite character is Steve. I mean, I just love Steve so much, and it's so nice to be in the room with him. It's so exciting. No, it's like Steve is just such a, and I think this season I think we really like we get to know Steve a lot more and really see kind of all different sides of him that are it's really it's definitely a coming out party for Steve this season.
Nice.
Evan, we never talked about this, but like that's a character I do. Like I'm not Steve. Like
No, I'm sorry. Now I'm lost.
No, that's great. So you don't like binge at 2 a.m. with like scalding hot, like I don't know, what was it, like the first episode of the
That's a
online
true
no,
story.
yeah,
No, that did happen.
Yeah. No, I have everything you know about Steve, I have
Yeah.
for sure. Like, but it's not me.
No, it's I love it so much, and I think what I really enjoyed, especially with the first season as well, was it has such a fun like low stakes succession feeling, but like y'all are able to really balance the like absurd, a little bit of heart, but like then it can get really surreal, and I just love how all those tones really come together nicely. Is that kind of tricky? Is there ever times in the writing room where you're all like, is this too far? Maybe we could push this further. Like, how does that go?
I don't think we've ever been like, that's too crazy. Like, I don't think we've ever felt like that's nuts. Like, that just doesn't exist. But at the forefront, I feel like, Evan, correct me if I'm wrong, when we're in the process of developing a story, my first thing I'm always asking at every moment, every step along the way is like, what is the heart of the story? What like is the emotional like story we're telling about this character and what they're going through? And is it heartfelt what we're saying about them on their journey? So that's always like the priority for me. Um, like a step down from that is like just making sure that the story arcs are left turn after left turn and unexpected. And you know, maybe sometimes we fall short of that. I think we do a pretty good job of getting that done, but that's where like the sci-fi and supernatural elements, when you're making so many left turns, it eventually just you're gonna dip into different genres.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, and I think you nailed it, Mike, as far as like all those different tones of the show, like that. I feel like I think we feel lucky that we've kind of created this world in which all of that stuff exists. And so it's like we can go in any of those different directions. We're not like locked into like only doing this like sweet heartfelt story where this other sci-fi element would feel totally out of place. It feels like we're fortunate enough to have a world where all of this stuff kind of fits together.
Yeah, and I think like the emotional payoff, I mean, the emotional stuff really have great payoffs because again, it's so well written, but also like, yeah, you feel like you get to know these people, and like even if their flaws are sometimes really outrageous or really exaggerated, I feel like you can all kind of relate to, I don't know, some of these characters. Again, maybe not to the amped up degree, except for me, of course. But
Except for me and Steve, like yeah.
Now, so do y'all find it kind of easier to write for these characters like the second time around? Like you seem like you kind of know everybody, and you don't. I think it's like the first season's always maybe a little bit of a hurdle because it's like you have a lot of world building to do, but now it's not that you're not still doing world building, but like you don't have to sort of introduce these characters quite as much. Like you can already, like it's probably a little bit more free range
For sure. I mean, that you can, there's so many examples and evidence of that, that like first seasons are hard and they usually come out very rough. And like, you know, like if you watch, like, I'm not knocking the shows, like I sympathize with them, but like if you watch like the first season of The American Office or like Parks and Rec, like those are, they're rough seasons. And then like those shows became some of my favorite shows. But like, yeah, I mean, you're just when you're getting a group of people together and nobody really kind of is on the same page because they can't be about who these characters are, it creates a lot of sort of a lack of a destination of where you're trying to go, and that becomes tricky to navigate. But absolutely, going into the second season, we knew who these characters were. Now it was so much easier to write in their voices and get in their heads and know what they would do in certain situations. And we took advantage of that. And in second season, we really like dive deep into like the psychology of these you know, mostly Steve and Theo and their dad, and what makes them tick, and really get in there. So it was like going deeper in our already established characters, and then the characters that are new or like didn't get much play in the first season, really giving them, putting some meat on their bones. Yeah.
Nice. So it looks like I need to wrap up, but just one really quick question for y'all. Do you have a particular favorite episode or moment that fans can kind of look forward to? I know you already teased some really exciting stuff coming up.
Evan, you go.
My favorite, you know, there's a moment in episode 4 of the season where it's very small and quiet, and I'll just say that Steve is a big enthusiast of a certain type of sparkling water, and he has a scene with Theo that is one of my favorites of the season because it is so kind of quiet and awkward, but it really makes me laugh, and I think it's really like very much just like it's the world of the show, you know. So that would be my like one of my high. It's almost like an anti-highlight because it's so anticlimactic, but I love it.
Seth, are you? I'm like laughing that like Evan hasn't gotten his LaCroix check yet.
Seriously, we need that partnership, right?
For me, the 10th, like we try to kind of like that 10th episode, the final episode of season 1 was so special to me and so near and dear to my heart. And I really feel like mission accomplished on that genuinely, on that season finale. And we tried to kind of at least match it with this season finale. And I think we succeeded as well. So I'm really excited to see how people feel once the whole season wraps. Seth, go ahead. I cut you off. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna tell my Rachel. I got one word for you. The Rachel episode. After you watch it, tell me what you think.
And
In the world, I think like Evan and Jason, I think, first season is always work on a show. It's rare that it's like perfect. And then in second season, what you want is just like the show to continue to be picked up so you can do less of the business, the sort of like exposition business of who these characters are, and more of the playfulness, which you kind of can't have one without the other. But once you establish the rules of the game and how characters act, then you're free to kind of play. And I think this season, it matches that sentiment. And I think if we came back, which we want to do, it would be even more playful. And I think I'd be curious what you think, but like, after you watch them, because I think what Evan is talking about, which are these really small moments, and what I'm talking about, and what Jason and I are talking about are really big radical moments that don't feel out of character for the show, but do push the boundaries, kind of like what episode, I think it was 6 last season, where we go in the past and it's the cannibal, and you're watching like, wait, what is this show? But it all kind of works, but it's, interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited. Thank you all so much. So I got
Thank you, Mike.
I got my box of Royal Crackers now, so I can
Nice.
with a snack with the new season. Gosh, thank you guys so much. It's always a blast talking to you, and such a great show. I am so excited for the rest of the season, and thank you again so much for talking to me.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate you.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
thanks,